Welcome to the Two-Ton Nerds. As always, my name is Max James. It's October 6, 2018, which means it's day 5, and as well, day 6 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 7. And the movies for day 5 and day 6 are Terrifier and Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Now, the reason why I'm doubling up in this episode is that for day 5, life just kind of took priority, and I just wanted to enjoy my day out and about, and I just didn't get a chance to sit in front of the camera and film, but I did manage to watch the movies, so I'm like, I'll just double up the next day when I watch Tucker and Dale. Now, I'm going to talk about Terrifier first for day 5, and my initial response when the movie came, when the final credit rolled, was I thought it was actually pretty decent horror. I thought it was pretty fun. But what made it more than average horror, or made it more than just your run-of-the-mill horror movie, was that your villain of this movie, Art the Clown, was fantastic. An okay horror movie can be a great horror movie if you have a really good villain, or like a very strong presence of dread or anything like that in the movie. And Art the Clown is that. He is just a black and white color scheme of a clown. He has very exaggerated high cheekbones, nose. His makeup is pretty simple as well, but except for around the mouth, it's very dark and heavy black lining. So when he smiles, it just like it and the guy who's playing Art the Clown, he can like really emote through this makeup, and that's a highlight because some actors can't. When you can act through makeup, that is fantastic. And his smile is really creepy, and it was like, oh man, this is really, really good. And the first 20 minutes of this movie is very strong. I think it is really strong because it's setting up this movie to about these two girls. I'm going to tell you what you need to know about this movie. It's about these two girls on their way home from a party on Halloween. They're very inebriated, so they can't make it home. So they call one of the sisters to come get them, and while waiting, they come across Art the Clown, and Art the Clown kind of takes a liking to one of the girls, and he follows them right into a well-lit establishment. It's a pizzeria, and he just sits down and just starts staring at her, smiling, kind of flirting, really. That's exactly what he's doing. He's flirting with her, and it's great because what I haven't seen this done is that our villain is just straight out just hanging out in public because it's Halloween. He's able to get away with his look, because I think that's really a strong point. Is that what he's doing, or how he's being able to like move around is just he's able to get away with it because it's Halloween, and now. And he just ends up like kind of stalking one of the girls as they come back to the car, finds out the tire's been flat, and so one of them has to use the bathroom, and then that's where the movie starts. Now, I have to give high praise, in another area is for the special effects. I love movies who use practical effects, and that's why I kind of tag teamed it with Tucker and Dale, because prior to me watching this movie, a friend recommended Terrifier, and he's like, oh, it's good use of practical effects. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to be watching these movies kind of back to back, because I knew Tucker and Dale uses practical effects as well. And it's just fantastic. There are some good gory moments in this movie, and it's a good movie to watch during the month of October. So I'm gonna give you my rating scale real quick. 1 being run-of-the-mill horror, 2 best watch with a group, 3 more than average horror but has nothing new to the horror genre, 4 helps move the horror genre forward, and 5 being a horror classic. This is I think it's more than average. I think so, because you got practical effects, which is a plus. You got a very good, strong villain, even though the plot's kind of lackluster. It's kind of been done, but it feels fresh because the villain is fresh. So, and man, those are three really strong selling points, and the acting is actually pretty decent, especially from Art the Clown, the guy. David Horton, I'm probably giving his name wrong, but he is fantastic. So, and I know this character, Art the Clown, was in a prior movie called All Hallows Eve, which I need to see because I didn't realize this was like kind of a sequel-esque or like just a continuation of that character. So I need to go see that one. Okay, now on the Day 6 movie, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Now, when horror and comedy mix, it can be done really bad or really well. And there's very few movies that can be done really well. Horror comedies got Shaun of the Dead. I think the 13th Wolfman just talked about Zombieland, and we were discussing that on his comment section about why I see it as a more comedy now, but it still has good horror elements to it. And there's basically some of the trauma movies. I think their horror section is really done really well with the comedy. So you have, when it's done really well, it's done really well, and when it's done really bad, it's done really bad. And I think this is done. It's very at the top tier of the horror comedy because you got two strong main characters, Tucker and Dale, who are played by Taylor Levine and Alan Tudyk. They're playing rednecks, and they're playing the typical redneck part. And then you got this cast of teenagers or college students who see them as the villain when they're not. So it's a nice twist on everything. And throughout the movie, the college students kind of attack, and they start to dispose of themselves in various gory fashions, and it's hilarious. So, I think Tucker and Dale is a very good movie. Even not to watch during the month of October, that movie is just good to watch anytime year round, just because it's funny. It's a nice twist on the horror genre. What else? It's just very good acting, even from the college students. They're playing their roles really well. So, what else is there? Oh, I'll just jump into we'll tell you what you need to know. Like I just discussed the plot, the practical effects, and the scare factor. I think there's a couple decent scare moments in both movies. Especially more so in Terrifier than Tucker and Dale, but Tucker and Dale have a couple moments in there. But overall, my rating for Tucker and Dale, I think it's definitely a horror classic. I think it's a good modern horror movie that helps because a lot of people it's critically acclaimed or praised. It's just good. I can't say enough about that movie, and I can't say enough about Terrifier as well. They are both good movies to watch during the month of October. So, with all that said, I know I kind of rushed this review, but I wanted to talk about both of these movies at least a little bit, and maybe I'll revisit these movies in a later year. So, as always, my name is Max James, coming from the basement, and I'm going to go geek out.